The movie begins with Gerry Lane, a former United Nations investigator, having breakfast with his wife Corinne and their 2 daughters in their Philadelphia home. The news reports on global unrest and unusual outbreaks, but the family seems focused on their morning routine, unaware of the looming disaster. As Gerry drives his family through the city, they get stuck in a massive traffic jam. Suddenly, chaos erupts. Police officers on motorcycles zoom past, helicopters fly overhead. And there's an unsettling tension in the air. It becomes clear that something is terribly wrong. As people start fleeing in panic, the tension explodes when a massive explosion occurs in the distance, followed by cars being rammed into each other. The Lanes witness firsthand the rapidly spreading chaos as people flee for their lives. Gerry quickly reacts to protect his family by driving them away and seeking safety. Unfortunately, they get into an accident and they're forced to get out of their car and get into an RV to escape. As they get away, they encounter a terrifying scene where people are attacked by rabid, fast-moving infected humans who have been turned into zombies. The infection spreads with incredible speed. Anyone bitten becomes a zombie within seconds. Gerry realizes the gravity of the situation as he watches people turn and attack others within moments of being bitten. While on the run, Gerry gets a call from his former UN colleague, Thierry Umutoni, who is now the Deputy Secretary General. Thierry urges Gerry to take his family to safety as they will need his skills to investigate and potentially help find a solution to the outbreak. Thierry offers to extract Gerry and his family, but Gerry must first find a safe location. The Lanes arrive in Newark, New Jersey, and take refuge in an apartment complex. There they find a temporary sanctuary with a local family who is also hiding from the infected. The apartment provides a brief moment of rest, but it becomes clear that the zombies are everywhere, and the city is rapidly being overrun. Gerry, being an experienced UN investigator, quickly assesses the situation. He knows that the apartment building is not safe, and the zombies outside will eventually break through the doors. He urges the family to join them in heading to the rooftop where a helicopter is waiting to rescue them, thanks to a call he made to his UN contact, Thierry. Unfortunately, the father of the family is not as confident. He is frightened and believes that staying inside the apartment, barricaded behind their locked doors, is the safest option for his family. A few minutes later, Gerry and his family sneak out of the apartment and escape up the stairwell toward the roof. As they fight their way through the building, Gerry shows off his survival skills, unaliving a few zombies along the way. Unfortunately, the father of the sheltering family is bitten and infected. Gerry makes the tough decision to leave him behind as he turns into a zombie, but he is able to take the man's son, Tommy, with them. They narrowly make it to the rooftop just in time to be airlifted by the UN helicopter. The helicopter transports Gerry, his family, and Tommy to a US Navy vessel stationed off the coast. This ship has become a safe zone for important personnel, military, scientists, and their families. It serves as the operations base for what remains of the UN and other government agencies coordinating survival and strategy efforts against the global outbreak. Once aboard, Gerry's family is provided shelter, but there's a catch. The leaders on the ship inform Gerry that he is only allowed to stay if he agrees to help in a global mission to find the source of the infection. The ship cannot house non-essential personnel, so Gerry must return to active duty and assist in the investigation of the outbreak. If he refuses, his family will be forced to leave the ship and fend for themselves. Gerry agrees to the mission and is sent on his first stop, a US military base in South Korea where they believe the initial outbreak may have occurred. He travels with a small team of Navy SEALs and a virologist, Dr. Fasbach, who hopes to study the virus up close. Their goal is to gather any useful information from the surviving soldiers on the base. Upon arriving at the base in South Korea, Gerry and his team immediately face another onslaught of zombies. The military personnel stationed there are struggling to fend off the infected. In a tragic twist, Dr. Fasbach panics during the attack and accidentally shoots himself, leaving Gerry to continue the mission without the virologist's expertise. While at the base, Gerry learns from one of the soldiers that the infection may have spread from a single bite or contact with an infected person. The soldiers also mention that North Korea managed to avoid the outbreak by pulling all citizens' teeth to prevent biting. However, they have no clear answers about how to stop the infection. Gerry is told that Jerusalem might have a solution, as the city appears to be the only place that prepared for the outbreak in advance and successfully kept the zombies out. Later, Gerry flies to Jerusalem, where the Israeli government, led by Mossad official Jürgen Wormbrunn, had built a massive wall around the city to keep the zombies out. This is one of the few safe zones still standing. Jerusalem's wall is a direct response to early warnings about the zombie outbreak, which were dismissed by most governments but acted upon by Israel. Gerry meets with Jürgen Wormbrunn, who explains that the Israeli intelligence agency intercepted communications years before about the potential threat. Based on these warnings, they started building the wall. Warm Brun discusses how they adopted the 10th man strategy, where if 9 people agree on something, the 10th man is required to argue the opposite, preventing groupthink. This is what led to their decision to take the outbreak seriously. Jerusalem is secure for the most part, with armed guards and constant vigilance. The refugees are allowed inside the walls, and life within the city seems relatively peaceful. People celebrate their safety by singing and chanting, feeling secure behind the walls. However, this gathering draws unwanted attention. As people inside the city are singing, the noise attracts the attention of the zombies outside, as the massive horde of zombies begins to scale the walls of Jerusalem. In a terrifying display of speed and agility, the zombies form human-like towers, climbing over each other to reach the top of the walls. Despite the efforts of the military to keep the zombies out, the swarm eventually breaches the walls. This leads to a chaotic and intense battle as the zombies flood into the city. Gerry finds himself in the middle of the chaos, fighting to survive and escape as the city falls apart around him. As the zombies flood into the city, Gerry and his escort, Sagan, a female Israeli soldier, attempt to escape. They fight their way through the chaotic streets, dodging zombies and using quick thinking to avoid infection. Shortly, Sagan is bitten by a zombie, and Gerry immediately amputates her hand to prevent the infection from spreading further. Despite the overwhelming odds, Gerry and Sagan manage to reach an aeroplane that is waiting to extract them. The escape is intense, with zombies chasing them as they scramble through the streets and onto rooftops. They finally get aboard the aeroplane, barely making it out as the city is overrun. As they fly away from the crumbling city, Gerry looks down at the destruction below. He sees the zombies swarming through the streets, attacking anyone they encounter. However, Gerry notices something odd. The zombies seem to be avoiding certain people. Specifically, they are not attacking the elderly and the sick. Gerry's observation becomes a critical turning point in his understanding of the virus. He begins to theorize that the zombies are not interested in individuals who are not healthy or viable hosts. This insight becomes the foundation for Gerry's eventual plan to use a camouflage of sorts to avoid zombie attacks. After escaping Jerusalem, Gerry contacts Thierry, his UN contact, and explains what he's observed. Thierry directs Gerry to a World Health Organization facility in Wales, where he hopes to test his new theory. Mid-flight, a stowaway zombie breaks loose in the plane's cargo hold, causing an outbreak on board. Gerry attempts to contain the infection by using a grenade to create a hole in the side of the plane, causing an explosive decompression that sucks the zombies out of the aircraft. However, this causes the plane to crash in the wilderness, unaliving most passengers and severely injuring Gerry. Him and Sagan barely survive the crash and make their way to the WHO facility, where they receive medical treatment. At the WHO facility, Gerry shares his observation that the zombies are avoiding the weak, sick or terminally ill. He theorizes that if humans could camouflage themselves with a deadly but non-lethal pathogen, they could become invisible to the zombies. The scientists at the WHO are intrigued but cautious. They explain that they have several highly dangerous pathogens in storage, but it's uncertain which one would work. The only way to test Gerry's theory is to retrieve the pathogens from a highly secured wing of the facility, which has been overrun by zombies. Gerry volunteers to go into the infected wing of the facility, accompanied by Sagan and a WHO doctor. The mission is tense, with the group carefully navigating through darkened hallways full of zombies. At several points, Gerry must use stealth to avoid detection by the zombies, who are still aggressive toward healthy individuals. They eventually reach the pathogen vault, but the situation becomes dangerous when the zombies begin to notice them. Gerry separates from the group, but he successfully retrieves the vials of potential pathogens. With the vials in hand, Gerry must test his theory. Knowing that there is no time for extensive testing, Gerry injects himself with one of the pathogens in the vault, risking his life to prove that the zombies will not attack an infected person. After waiting anxiously, Gerry opens the door to the room and the zombies, true to his theory, completely ignore him. He calmly walks past them, proving that the pathogen camouflage works. Gerry's plan is a success, and his theory is broadcast globally. Humanity begins using the pathogen camouflage to hide from the zombies, allowing people to move freely through infected zones and rebuild society. Gerry returns to his family, who have been relocated to a safe zone. The world is still in chaos, but there is hope for survival. Make sure to like and subscribe for more notifications. Until next time, see you soon.